Hey, what's up everyone? In today's lesson, we're gonna use the L298N motor driver, which allows you to control two DC motors. So these are DC motors, and we can't control them directly from the Arduino board. That's why we're gonna need this L298N motor driver. We will be able to control the speed and the direction of each motor from the Arduino board. So before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so that you get notified when I release new video, and let's jump right into it. So first of all, we need to understand how this driver works. Basically, we are going to hook up the first motor to these two terminals and the second one to the terminals on this side. Then we can hook up these pins to the Arduino board so that we can control the speed and the direction of each motor. Also, this driver needs a little bit of power, so we need to power it using 12-volt battery, for example, or you could use a 9-volt battery as well. Basically, this is the VCC. The middle terminal is the ground, and finally we have this one. We are not going to use it this time. So this is actually outputting 5 volts, and normally we use it to power the Arduino board. So you only need a 9-volt battery. Then you could power the Arduino Uno using this pin. But we don't need to use that. For now we are powering the Arduino Uno using the USB cable. But how to control the speed and the direction of each motor? Basically, we have 4 pins. The two on the right side control the direction of the right motor, and the 2 pins on the left side control the motor that we're gonna hook up to the left side. Basically, whenever you set one of these pins to low and the other one to high, the motor will rotate in a direction. Then if you reverse the values, if you set this pin to low and the other one to high, it's gonna change the direction. But if you put these two as low or high, the motor will stop. The same thing, we can use these pins. If we set this one to high and the other one to low, our motor on the left side will rotate in a certain direction. And if we reverse the values, if we set this to low and the other one to high, our motor will rotate in the opposite direction. But to control the speed of each motor, we need to remove this jumper. So to control the right motor, we need to remove this right jumper. And then you will have the third pin. So we use this one to control the speed of the right motor. We are going to connect it to one of the digital pins that has the squiggly sign. Then we can use the analog write command, which takes a value between 0 and 255 to change the speed of the motor. The same thing for the left motor. If you remove this jumper, you will have another pin to control the speed of the left motor. So in today's project, we are going to hook up one motor. Then we're going to control the speed and the direction using these 3 pins. But the same thing applies to the other motor. So for now, I'm gonna remove this jumper. Then let's take one DC motor, like this one. I'm gonna connect it to this side, and you have these 2 terminals. So it doesn't matter, you could reverse these 2 wires. Then we are going to take these 3 male to female jumper wires, and let's connect the 3 pins on the right side so that we can control the speed and the direction of the right motor. So we're going to use the orange wire to control the speed. Make sure to connect it to the digital pin that has the squiggly sign, like the pin number 3. Then let's connect the other 2 pins to the pin number 4 and 5. Now we need to power this module. Basically, I'm going to use this 9-volt adapter. Then let's connect the VCC, which is this one. Then we're going to connect the GND. But pay attention, we need to make sure that the Arduino Uno and the motor driver share the same ground pin. So I'm going to take this jumper wire and we're going to connect the GND pin of the driver to the GND pin of the Arduino. Then let's take this wire and connect the GND pins. So you could use any of these GND pins, like these. Now we can move to the Arduino IDE so that we can control the direction and the speed of this motor using the pins number 3, 4, and 5. Also, I want to take this breadboard and put the motor on top of it so that we can fix it. And let's start by adding few variables using int. And let's call the first one motor speed pin, which is number 3. Then we have the two other pins to control the direction using int. And let's call it motor direction 1, which is the pin number 4. Then let's call the second one motor direction 2. And let's set it to 5. Then we need to use the pin mode so that we can set the pin mode. So we're going to use these as outputs. Let's pass in the name of the variable, which is the motor speed pin, then the output keyword, and the same thing for the others. Let's use pin mode, motor direction 1, then output. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to watch my first videos. We've covered the pin mode function and how to use the digital write command. We don't need to go under the loop function. We can set the pins under here. First, we're going to set the speed using the analog write command, which takes the motor speed pin. Then we can pass in a value between 0 and 255. So if we set it to 255, it's going to be the maximum speed of the motor. But let's try with a smaller value, like 100. Then we can set a direction using the digital write command. For example, let's set the motor direction 1 to high and the motor direction 2 to low. Now the motor will rotate in a specific direction. And as you can see, the motor is rotating. We could also change the speed. For example, let's change it to 60. And let's hit upload. And there you go. Now we can change the speed of the motor. So let's try to decrease it a bit, like 40. So it's not rotating unless you give it a little bit of help. We could also change the direction. So if you change this to low and the other one to high, and let's hit upload. Now it's going to rotate in the opposite direction. We can make it full speed by setting the motor speed pin to 255, which is the full speed. And yeah, it's working. So it's a little bit noisy. I'm gonna change it to 0 or 10. In our next videos, we're gonna use this driver to make robot cars. So you could hook up the other motor to this side. Then you could control the speed and the direction using the other 3 pins. Anyway, this is gonna be the topic of our next videos. That's why make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and I will see you in the next one.